Well, let's go ahead and begin with this one since the camera's already all set up. And we've got a nice sky, a little bit of water, some puffy clouds, and next thing you know, a mighty mountain, as the man used to say. So what we need first is we need a layer of black on here, or I should say dark, right? So I'm going to go ahead and grab myself a brush. This is dry, by the way, because I've done it the day before. That's fine. And instead of using just black, what I'm going to do is I'll add a little bit of blue to it and a little bit of this magenta. Give myself a nice dark color, but not a purely black color. Okay, and those are just the same colors that basically I've been using throughout this painting. Cool. Okay, so then, I got to think about my composition. So I think I'm going to have like a nice tree here, right? Maybe a little something over here. So I don't want to make a mountain that's not even worth making. So I think I'll cover it right in here. We'll kind of mimic this cloud. So, okay, make some mountain noises. Oh, the second little peak, something like that. Right, give those mountains some loft and break them up a little bit. We don't want little pointy little teepees, right? If we can avoid that, okay. I'm going to use the edge of my brush here to give it a nice edge on the canvas there. Nice crisp edge. Okay. And something like this here. Be adding that extra little something, right? Don't make them too smooth. They don't have to be all crazy, but little somethings that are going on here, and that will be just fine. Okay. And then once we've got that, we can just fill this area in, no problem. If you were watching a Bob Ross when he's doing his oils, you'd see that he scrapes this area out, but that's because it's all wet. And if you were doing this immediately after doing the sky and it was all wet, well, you might want to do that. But here, I just really don't think it's a big deal. Just paint it right on top. And I think I'll just basically get that all the way down to my water line there. And if I was thinking about it, I could even put in a little bit of what I want to have happening here. Might as well. I've got all the same colors that I want to use. And so I think I want to have it come out this way, a little bit of an island, but I don't want to lose this. This is kind of nice. I'm kind of digging that, right? And then it's going to come back this way, give it a place for that little tree. And then maybe back over here, we'll have our more distant shore. And, it's not a bad idea even to sort of draw things out a little bit if you wanted to. Maybe even, just a little something over here too. Oh, I like that. Okay. And that's going to be basically my shoreline. And I can just fill this in more dark right there. Okay, good enough, good enough. I think I might have liked this one cutting in a little bit sharper here, but that's okay. We'll just put a bush there or something. All right, so now here's the other thing is that oftentimes if you ever watch a Bob Ross, you'll see that he's using the palette knife to make his edges. And of course, this is just sort of a paint scraper here, right? Putty knife. Here's the palette knife that he would use, something like this here. And great, except that the difference is that in the classroom, these cost, $5, $6, $8, $10, whatever, right? And they're metal and they get really sharp. You can really cut yourself on these. They become sharp like a razor after you've used them continually. This, on the other hand, I got 3 of these for $1 over at the 99-cent store. And you know what? They work just fine. So anyways, we've got that. Okay, cool. So now let's do the snowy-like effect on here. Okay, so the first thing I want to think about in making my snowy-like effect is I probably want 2 different colors of snow. So I'll kind of like make 2 different piles here. One lighter and one darker. So let's see. We'll start with this, just giving myself a little bit of this purpley color and mix it into here. Maybe more heavily blue. I could even mix some of this dark that I've got here. Okay, a little more of that dark. Okay, and this is darker than I would probably do it, but since this is more of a night scene, I think that's good. Who knows? And then we'll make the other side lighter. Just grab some of this magenta here, just a little bit of it. And we want it to be visibly lighter than the other side. Okay, so I've cleaned my palette knife off here. And so I've got this one in sort of a streak and this one here. I'll get in sort of a streak down. And that's going to really help me with getting a bit on the edge of my knife. All right, cleaning it one more time so I have a nice clean tool to start with. And, okay, here we go. So I'm going to take maybe this dark one first. And if you can see, what I'm doing is I'm putting it right there at a right angle pretty much and just scraping across. And what happens is I get a nice little roll of paint. And if you can see it there, a nice little roll of paint on the end of my palette knife. Okay. Now snow goes downhill, so we want to go down the directions that we want to go. Obviously, if we have our light here, then this is going to be the light side, and this will be the dark side. So I'll go ahead and start with my dark side. Okay, I'm going to place it right on the edge where I want it, right? And then I'm just going to let it break. Now, it's going to take a little bit of practice. Cool. And a little bit more. Oopsie. And just turning that, letting it break a little bit as it comes off of there. Alrighty. So just letting that break down into the paint, letting all those little things where it just kind of breaks a little bit. We want that to happen. And so let me see, I think I want to bring this around. See, like a ridge right around there. So I'll made that little ridge, and now once again I want that to go downhill. So here we go, kind of like that. Kind of like that again. Alrighty, there we go. Just allowing that to scrape through a little bit. Okay. I think that'll be pretty good. Okay. There we go, a little bit. Just clean my palette knife right there. Why not? That's how lazy I am. Okay, clean that off. Now for the brighter side, the lighter side here. Okay, so once again, I'm just going to cut. See, just across there. All right, so I've got my little roll of paint right there. All right, gotta be brave. Let's see. And oh, there it is. You see that nice little breakup? That's what I want right there. And maybe, oosh, I think I'll just sort of angle this one like this a little bit. Catch it right on that ridge there, and then just, ooh, pushing down to flatten that sucker down. It's okay if some of that paint shows through. It's just giving me that little bit of light. It's okay. And I think I want more on the edge right here. All right. And bring that down. Oh, yeah, there we go. I don't mind if it gets a little bit dark in here. Okay, but I do want a little bit more on that edge right there. Once again, don't be a slave to the techniques. You learn the techniques because that's what helps you out. But you still have to be an artist, and you still have to take responsibility for how you're going to use them. Okay, cool. And a little bit over here. All right. And here, with this putty knife, I find that sometimes I'm very gentle, but sometimes I just really push that sucker down, right? Just like, squeeze that thing down and drop it to the ground there. All right. There we go. And here we want to make this a little bit longer, maybe. Just adding another one. Maybe softening that a little bit. Isn't that crazy? It looks like mountains, right? So let's see. Maybe something over here? Sure, why not? Let's just see what happens. Okay, but that'd be kind of an odd thing, so I'm not going to leave it like that. I just wanted a little bit more white there. So back in with my dark again, maybe. Maybe this is going to come a little bit like that. You see, just to give it some diversity, break that up a little bit. And if I get things that are too streaky, it's not the end of the world, but I could also go back and just give them a little touch, just to break them up, just a little bit. Anywhere else? Oh, maybe there's a little bit on this side right here, and here, who knows, any more over here, just to break that up a little bit. Ooh, I know. I'll get one right. Bam, we'll get one right in here. That'll give it a lot of depth. A lot of little crags going on that one now. Ooh, got the palsy. Bam, just wiggling that around a little bit. Okay. Right. Awesome, right? Okay.